All right, Candice, it says we are live. So we are
Yes.
officially live. And I am super excited because this is the first time ever that I'm going live on, I think it's streaming in three places. So we should be, and I should probably check all these places, live on my Facebook page, my LinkedIn page, and also on YouTube. So, welcome to everyone that's joining us on the live. I'm super excited to be here with you and to introduce my dear sister and the amazing work that she's doing in the world. So, before we get started, because I haven't gone live on LinkedIn ever, and I hardly go live on YouTube, and I actually don't really post on my Facebook page anymore, I'm going to start off with an introduction in case this is
Mhm.
actually the first time that you're seeing my face and like, who is this person on this live? So I am Nadine Murray, and I am the CEO and partner of She Elevates Media. And She Elevates Media is a media agency, and we help mainly women of faith in business who may be struggling to elevate in their industry. And we do that by really helping them to hone in on their expertise and their authority by having a podcast, a summit, or publishing a book. So we believe those are vehicles that can really elevate you in your marketplace, no matter what space you're in, no matter what industry you're in. You become an authority and expert when you have a podcast, a summit, or a book. And that is what we help our clients to do so they can really reach the people that God has called them to reach with their God-given messages. So that's what we do at She Elevates Media. And actually, probably this is one of the first times I'm really sharing that because this is a new role for me in 2026, lots of 2025. So lots of new things going on. So I did want to first of all introduce myself for all those that may be watching live and hopefully on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. And as I mentioned, I have an amazing guest with me today, and she's going to be sharing about a great event that's coming up, and we're going to be talking a little bit more about that. But first, I'd love Candice to go ahead and share and tell a little bit about herself.
Mhm. I just want to give some applause for the work that you're doing, and
Oh,
what you shared just now is really a big picture idea that I know God has given you, and I'm
mm,
all about supporting the kingdom building better. And that
yes,
that is some. So I didn't want to gloss over that amazing work that you're doing. So I wanted to give honor to that as well. So Candice Bailey um, is from Trinidad originally, a very nice village called Koki. And God had a very interesting plan for my life. One day I was single and a high school teacher, and before I knew it, I ended up in America, ended up being engaged, married, starting this ministry, this movement. And it was just one thing after the other: marriage, migration, ministry, all in one. But I am excited about it because it's something that God prepared me for. And it's what I'm called embracing the stretched out life. So
yes,
I'm an author of that lovely book, The Stretched Out Life. I'm also a speaker trainer, which I take joy doing. And I am big on connecting kingdom people, kingdom minded persons. And I'm big on ensuring that spaces are created so that we can network, we can collaborate. And I'm just excited to have this conversation with you because you and I met at an event. And,
yes.
I never thought that we would have been able to create such an amazing dynamic relationship. And it just feels good to know that you're not alone and other women are doing amazing meaningful work. And yeah, so that's it's about me. And the one thing I really appreciate about my journey is God allowed me to be married, and it's one of the best personal development programs ever. And you are new to the club, but you will know for yourself that it makes you such a better version of yourself. So I have to add to my bio that I'm a happy wife who is growing, learning, stretching, and sometimes wondering, okay, God, am I doing this thing right? But
Yeah.
I'm here for the journey, and I'm very excited about what's to come.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that a part of your story is the M alliteration. Like I always see God moving in alliterations, right? First, you had the marriage, right? And a
Mhm.
short span. I don't think you shared this in your story. I think you, but I know this part of your story was within 7 months that you met and married, right? Was it 7 months was the time period?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
a marriage, a migration, that alone is huge. Moving from a completely different country to a new country is a big step in life. So you're married, you migrate, then you have ministry, a new
Mhm.
ministry that you started with this mantle God has given you with the stretched out life. And then you've created a movement. So I love alliteration and how God
Mhm.
shows up in our life in a alliteration. And I can 100% agree with you as a newly married. I think, what am I, 5 months in now? 5 months in, that is the number one thing I tell people that nobody really shared to me that this is a personal development program.
Right.
Like marriage is about you growing and seeing all the things that nobody else can show you or you can see except within a marriage. So
Mhm.
110% agree with you that it is a personal development program that we've been enrolled into by God, you
Yes.
know, for us to grow, to stretch, and to be a better version of ourselves. So I love that you explained it that way. And I do want to share our backstory. So we actually met at a business conference.
Mhm.
I think it was
In May,
yes, in
another
May.
M in May.
Yes, in
It was
May.
May 9th because it was my birthday actually.
I
And
didn't realize that.
and
Yeah.
then now your what was your maiden name?
My maiden was Mullings.
Right. So you move from one M to another M,
Yeah,
right?
to Murray.
I
From
just had
Mullings
I
to
just had
Murray.
yeah, I just had to put that in. Yeah, you could continue the story. We met in May.
We met in May at a business conference. Shout out to Business and Beyond, which is an annual conference put on by Broward County. And
Yes.
Candice got up and just shared, she shared what she was looking for, what she was desiring. And something in my spirit, everybody who knows me knows I'm spirit led. So when something churns in my spirit, I move, said to go talk to that girl, because I felt number one, I could connect her to the right community, the right people, and to just connect with a fellow entrepreneur. So I reached out to her and I said, hey, I can definitely connect you with mentorship and different communities and the things that she was looking for. So later on we did a one-on-one Zoom meeting, and we did just a connection call, and we realized that we had so many things in common. We had friends in common. We actually have the same denomination in common. We're both Adventists. So we didn't realize that in the moment when we connected, but I truly believe in divine connections, right? God
Mhm.
divinely connects us with the right people at the right time. So I truly believe it wasn't a coincidence. It was definitely a divine connection, and God saw fit that we crossed paths at that
Mhm.
conference. So I'm excited to be able to speak with you today and have you share about another event that's coming up soon. And it's the Women Who Stretch live conference that's happening here in South Florida. So if you are in the South Florida area or near to the South Florida area, I definitely encourage you to check out this event. I'm going to have Candice share a little bit more about what the event is about. So tell us a little bit more about Women Who Stretch. What was the vision? Tell us all about this event that's coming up and the date and the logistics.
Yeah, sure. All of this was birthed from an opportunity I got earlier in October. You know, uh,
Okay.
we had a women's ministry retreat with our church. And I was saying, God, I want to go, I want to go, I want to go. But there was so many different things happening. And when you get married, all of a sudden you have to get very strict on finances because
Right.
everything is, very intentional. So I said, you know what? I'll miss this one. I'll, meet up with the other one. And it so happens that the women's ministry leader said, hey, our guest speaker can't make it. Will you do it? We will cover everything. I said,
Mm.
of course, yeah. And she said, walk with copies of your books. You could sell them as well, network with the woman. And after that session, they thought, because it was on Saturday, on Sabbath during worship time, they thought I was going to present a sermon. But on my
Mm.
heart, God told me to present a workshop. So the
Mm.
entire message was wrapped around this idea of separation. So we are separated from our families for these three
Mhm.
days. what do we want the transformation to look like? And I
Yeah.
took copies of some questions from my book, photocopied it, split up everyone into groups, and it was just the energy in the room, the emotion, the engagement. It was just something that could only be good. And after
Yeah.
that, she ran up to me and she's like, Candace, that was so amazing. Why don't you do more of this? I said, well, I'm new to America. I don't have much resources. I don't have a space. She's like, that's not a problem. God will work it out. Okay. I left that to rest. And then 2 weeks later, she gives me a phone call, 7 o'clock in the morning. Candace, I have a venue. I call them. This is the only day they have available. I booked it. Go ahead and do your event. I was like, what? This
Right.
lady is not serious. She doesn't know I wrapped up for the year. I just want to just enjoy the rest of the year and do what I need to do. But
Right.
God says you can't be telling women to stretch, which is come out of their comfort zone and build capacity and character through these experiences that will pull you and stretch you and
Mm.
not stretch yourself. So I took the opportunity. I said yes. And the day after, I was like, you just did something insane. You don't have this money to do this. But I said, God, I'm excited. The next day, I got the full download about the event. I said, God,
Mm.
what do you want me to share? He says, I want you to share how women could reclaim their voice, how they
Mm.
could embrace vulnerability, and how they can become more visible and engaged, just like we're doing now in 2026, because I have a lot of things prepared for them. And I was like, whoa, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. You just did three V's there. So he got me excited, the whole alliteration
Yes.
thing. And then I noticed that there were a lot of women coming to me saying, Candice, I want to invest in myself, but I don't have a job. I don't have employment. I don't have income.
Mm.
Some of them
Mm-hmm.
are saying, I want to speak, but I'm too ashamed of my journey. I'm too ashamed of
Mm.
my story. Some of them
Mhm.
are saying, I want to show up on social media, but my hair is not right. My face
Mm.
doesn't look my face doesn't look the best. I look like what I'm going through. And I said, these are the questions on women's hearts that need
Mm.
answering and it needs support. So that
Yeah.
is why I'm hosting Women Who Stretch because God is only going to work with women who stretch, who are willing to
Mm.
say, I don't know how you want me to get this done, but I'm going forward nevertheless. So
Yes.
it's happening December 7th. And
Okay.
that day, and 7 is one of my, a number dear to my heart. It's a number
I was
perfect.
just about to say that because you mentioned earlier your birthday was May 7th. And then you said the ministry leader called you at 7 a.m. And now the event is December 7th. That is
Mhm,
not a coincidence.
mhm. Yeah, so it's like God knows how to speak to me. He speaks to me through numbers. He speaks to me through
Mm.
words. And
Yeah.
I realized that, I was searching for a job all over. And yes, we know we are in a country of what seems plentiful, but God is not asking you to chase the plentiful. He's asking you to chase purpose. And
Yes.
a lot of us forget that. And I realized I was doing a 9 to 5 and, enjoying it. Damage injured my leg. And I was like, okay, God, this is a sign I was walking in the wrong direction. Let's
Mm.
heal and let's help other women heal. So that is what's happening. The entire journey came from a place of I am not a billionaire yet, but
Mm.
I cannot help the woman I want to help. But what I can do is offer them the information and the insights that God has given me so that they could use it and He could bless it and they can take action. So
Yeah.
that's how this entire event was booted. And that is my big why. My why is I am tired hearing women saying things like, I want to invest in myself, but my husband and I have other priorities. I want to start my own business, but I have nobody to invest in me. I want to write my story and speak my story, but who's going to listen? And I'm even ashamed to speak about it. So, all of these things, I was like, all right, God, we're going to knit something together because this needs to stop. So, most of the world's problems, um, people have this burning on their heart to say, hey, I feel uncomfortable about this. I'm going to do something about it. So, Woman
Mm.
Who Stretches my step to do something about it.
Yeah, I love that. And it's so important for us to step outside of our comfort zone, like you said, right? Stretching is about stepping outside of our comfort zone and doing things that are going to make us uncomfortable. Doing a live event in a new country with a lot of people that you don't even know, right? That's going to stretch you. That's taking you outside of your comfort zone. But
Mm-hmm.
what I love is the importance of being obedient, right? You could have
Yeah.
easily told the ministry leader that reached out to you and say, "Hey, I'm booking this venue you're for you. Hey, I don't think I can do it. Maybe it's too early." You could have come up with all the excuses in the world not to move forward, but you took a posture and a position of obedience. You
Mm-hmm.
realized that this was an opportunity and for God to really show up and show out, right? When we are obedient, it gives God the opportunity to give the outcome, right? We have to be obedient first. We have to take those steps first. And then God is responsible for the outcome. We're not even responsible for the outcome. I was reading that in devotion this morning, and it's so true. God is responsible for the outcome. We are responsible for being obedient. And no matter
Mm-hmm.
how uncomfortable it is, no matter how hard it is, it's important for us to stretch and really be outside of our comfort zone. And I love that you shared about the buts, all of the buts that we have in life. I want to do this, but I really would,
Mm-hmm.
but the buts.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk a little bit more. I think you talked about several types of buts. And I think one but that really stood out for me, maybe it would stand out for those who are watching or listening, is the financial but, right?
I knew you was gonna
So
go there. That's a big butt in the way.
that's a big but in the way. So many of us are like, man, I really would want to go to this event, or man, I really want to, buy this program or this
Mm-hmm.
course or whatever. But I don't
Mm-hmm.
have the finances. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of us are looking at our bank account, right? We're
Mm-hmm.
looking at the $0 or the very low amount of dollars in the bank account and making the decision on the natural. So let's
Right.
talk a little bit about how do we push past, how do we stretch
Mm-hmm.
when the but is the finances, right?
Definitely. And that's a great question because I truly believe God says in His word, He will give us the desires of our heart. But if
Mm.
in your heart you're double minded and you
Mm.
made a decision that this cannot be yours because you
Yes.
cannot provide or you can't see the provision happening, then
Yep.
the desire is not going to come forward because you have a double mind and you made a decision. This is not for me, so, because I can't do it. So, we need to
Mm.
get the I out of the way. We need to get a changed mindset and we need to say, hey, God, you provide for me, not my job, not my spouse. You provide for me. So, in your provision, I am sharing with you my desires to go because, and sometimes we forget, and it's hard for me too because I lost my father when I was 9. So
Mm.
sometimes seeing God as father,
Mm.
sometimes it's a bit difficult to see because you don't know what that dynamic in the relationship really feels like. But it
Right.
looks something like this. It looks something like, you are my heavenly father and I'm coming to you to say, those times when we want to go out with friends and we have to come up with this big explanation as to why we should go. I think
Right.
some of us need to have those conversations with God and say, hey, I'm not going because I want something to do or I want an excuse to dress up. I'm going because I know this is
Mm.
going to support my purpose. This is going to
Mhm.
support the person I'm becoming. And when we start having those discussions, God opens up the way for us to be there.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
as you're speaking, yesterday I got a phone call and she doesn't want me to disclose her identity, but she says, Candice, I'm gonna sell you some money for 3 women to show up.
Wow.
And I
Nice.
already had the 3 women waiting because they were saying, Candice, I want to come, but I don't know. But
Yeah.
it's not for you to know. God is not looking to see if you are able to do because that's his job. He's not
Right.
looking to see if you're able, he's looking to see if you're available. And not just
Yes.
available in mind and heart, but you show up. Because a lot of
Exactly.
women, they pay and they think, At least I invested in myself. No, the true investment is taking you and showing up and being
Right.
full in. So, in terms of the question you asked, how we push past the finance, we have to stop thinking that we are the providers. We have to
Mm,
stop thinking that we are the ones to solve the problems. We have to stop
mhm.
thinking that. And we have to go back to the promise keeper who says, I shall supply all your needs.
Right.
You will be the head and not the tail. But
Right.
sometimes we go into panic mode, forget who is the provider, forget his promises, and decide we are going to stay in a position of panic instead of
Yeah.
progress by faith. So
Exactly.
I mean, it's easy to say because I also had a lot of moments. I just believe with all my heart that go back to the last thing God has told you to do in terms of obedience.
Yeah.
Keep doing that, get that done, and He will take care of the rest. Put
Exactly.
yourself in a position. Some of us, we don't like to be vulnerable. So for the woman who is saying, Can Candice, I hear you, but I really don't have the money. You need to get on the phone, call me, and say, I don't have the money, but my seat is there. Let's
Mm,
figure it out.
yeah.
Let's seek God. Let's ask. The Bible says you have not because you ask not. And
Right.
a lot of us who have financial issues, it's not really financial issues. We have faith issues and we have emotional regulation issues. That's basically it. Our
Yeah.
emotions, our fear is a bigger wave than our faith. So
Yeah.
so I just believe doing this, trust me, I had $0. My husband looked lovingly at me and said, I can't fund this. I've
Right.
been funding all of your projects and events
Right.
since 2023. We are in 2025 and it's just not happening. I will put up the balloons. I will get you to the event, but that's about it. We have
Yep.
things to do.
Yeah.
And in that moment, I said to myself, he's right.
Mm,
This is God's business. And
exactly.
every businessman knows exactly how to count the cost before they get involved. And God
Right.
owns everything, so he doesn't have to count the cost. He already knows how it's going to be provided for. As
Exactly.
of last night, we are halfway through getting our numbers and getting the funding to pay off for the entire event, to pay off for the food, beverage, everything. How? A couple of weeks ago, I had $1 in my
Yeah.
pocket. How? And I went into the space of blaming myself. Oh my gosh, if I had gone back to the 9 to 5, I'd have had enough money too. But then, if I'd done that, you and I wouldn't be having this conversation because I would be on somebody else's clock.
Right.
And
Exactly.
we have to trust the process as hard as it may be. Because guess what? This world is not designed, this society, this government, everything around us is not really designed to build God's kingdom. It's
Right.
designed for something else. So
Exactly.
that's my answer. So for the woman who is saying finances, 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 you are not in charge of the storehouse of heaven. You don't have the keys. Get to know the person who has the keys and you'll be good.
Yeah, I love that. So true, so true. It is not for us to worry about where the provision is going to come from. We just have to trust that it will come and make a decision. I think that's one of the
Mhm.
key things that you said too. We have to decide in our heart and in our mind, this is what I want and this is my next right step. And so this is what I want and this is the next right step because, like you said, because A, if I do this, if I do that, this will happen, and then keep moving forward and the provision will show up, right? The resource will show up, the people will
Mhm.
show up. So it's so important to, number one, decide, number two, take the necessary steps to move forward and not be caught in what it looks like in the natural or what it looks like
Right.
in your bank account, because at the end of the day it gives you an opportunity to give God the glory, right? At the end of
Mhm.
this all, you can have a testimony. I had zero money. My husband wasn't going to finance this, But look at what God did. Look at what God
Mhm.
did and how amazing this event is. So I love that at the end of the day, it's about giving God the glory. So share a little bit more for those of us in the South Florida area about what to expect during the day of Women Who Stretch. Like, what are the things, the activities, the speakers, topics that are going to be happening that day? And remind us the date, and then maybe share the best way for people to register. I know you gave me a link, so I'll go ahead and put that in the comment section to register. But if you want to go ahead and share that too.
I thought you'd have never asked this. I don't think women are ready for what is about to unfold because I have been seeing imagining the different things that as I walk through my mind what the day looks like. And I'm
Mm,
saying this is something that definitely is going to shift the spirits of a lot of women and shift their mindsets. So as we enter, as we gather and connect, of course, doors will be open at 9:30 and we start 10 sharp to
mm,
be there. We're going to have it at the Colony West Golf Club in Tamarack. And
awesome.
as we go through the day, of course, because we are women of faith, we bring God into all our spaces. So we're going to start off with prayer and worship. And our theme song is Believe for It by CC Winers.
Love that
And
song.
yeah, that song, you're going to be hearing it on repeat throughout the day because
Love it.
a lot of us have stopped believing. And it shows up in the way we speak, it shows up in the way we live, it shows up in the conversations we have, the things we do. And I believe that whatever you want in 2026, you have to believe for it and you have to go after it. So we're
Mm,
gonna have some um a welcome worship, and then we're going to go into an icebreaker activity. Now, I know we said on the flyer business casual, look sharp, look nice, but also be comfortable because coming from my world of theater, drama, performing arts, facilitation, you're not
mhm,
coming to just sit and take notes. You're actually going to be involved in activity. And I believe one of the ways to truly learn is to
mm,
be involved and to participate. So we're going to have some group work, some
okay.
individual work, some peer work, and it will be around three main areas:
Okay.
reclaiming our voice. I'm going to go
Mm,
into a short 20-minute workshop. Each woman will have a worksheet so we could go through that journey of where we have lost our voice, what have we
mm,
been silent on, how do we reclaim this voice, and what type of doors are going to open for us when we start speaking. So we're going
okay.
to go through that entire experience. Then we're going to have a break. We're going to have teas, drinks, juices, and then we're going to go into um, another workshop, and then at
Mhm,
12:30 we have lunch, and that lunch
mhm,
is not just, oh, we're dining having fun. No, that lunch is you have to have an activity at each table, something
okay.
that each table need to discuss while you're having lunch together, because we want the entire day to be network focus, collaborations, opportunities to come out from that room. So the
Yeah.
second workshop is on vulnerability, the power of
Mm,
vulnerability, because
mhm,
let's be honest, a lot of women, they're saying, I don't want to be in a room with other women. I don't trust women. I have women issues. I don't want to share my story. I don't want to feel
mm.
ashamed. But vulnerability is what gets you as an entrepreneur into certain doors.
Yeah,
I've
it's
traveled
key.
the world and I've been able to work on Broadway because of my vulnerable story. So we're going to
Mhm,
tap into that and how it's going to help us with business and collaborating with others. And then the final session, the entire hour is dedicated to a networking party, which I'm so excited about. We're going to talk
yeah,
about how to become visible and engaged in 2026. And one of
yeah.
them is tapping into social media, is tapping into podcasts. So and I know you're going to be in your room too. So some of these ladies
Yes.
can come on your show and be a part of the entire experience. And
Yep.
we're going to be able to exchange contacts. And the one thing I'm looking forward to is I'm going to share a template that I use to pitch. every single time when I go to networking events. So it's not just about exchanging call cards, but exchanging conversation that moves you to another space. So that
Yeah.
is the day in a wrap.
Yes.
I'm just really, really excited to see how God shows up and shows out.
Yeah, I am too. I'm excited just from you hearing you talk about the flow of the day. I think it's so important for us to really tap into our voice. You know, God has given each and every one of us a unique voice with a unique message. I remember one of my first summits that I ever did was the power of your voice, right?
Mm,
Our voices are powerful, and the spoken word and just how God spoke the world into existence. So voice is so important, and so many of us are quelling our voices, lowering our voices when God is calling us to have bigger voices, right?
mhm,
So I love that the conference is going to be talking about our voice, right? Because that is so important. Then the second thing that the conference is going to be talking about is vulnerability. And I struggle in this area. I'll be the first to say I'm not really as vulnerable. I'm kind of more private. Like I don't want to put my business
mhm.
out in the street. But the summit that I had this year was the power of your story and the
Mm,
importance of sharing your story and how that impacts and helps other people because it helps
mhm.
other people to realize, oh, her story is similar to mine, you know,
Correct.
or it helps people to relate to you. So it's so important to be vulnerable and share all the stuff in your story, including the messy side, right? So I
Mhm.
love that a part of the conference is going to be tapping into being more vulnerable, which helps us to be more real. So I love that. And then the last V, because I did notice the alliteration, because you know I always do. The
Mhm.
last V that the conference is going to be covering is visibility, right? We're
Yes.
on live right now to get that visibility. And as women business owners, it's so important to be able to be visible, right? You said in the beginning, some women don't want to be on camera. And I'm like that sometimes too. It's like now you have to worry about makeup and hair
Yeah.
and angles and do you look right? But at the end of the day, it's not about you, it's about your message and
Yeah.
how your message helps other people, which actually reminds me of another summit that I did, which was power of your message. So it seems like all of these things are connected to or
Connected.
correlated to some summits that I've done in the past. But being visible is so important in order
Mhm.
to, get your voice out there. So I love that we're going to be covering these things. I'm going to be there. So I'm excited to be in attendance at the Women Who Stretch live event. So again, if you are in the South Florida area, even if you're not in like Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, but you're close, maybe you're in Orlando or on the West Coast, it's worth a drive to come and be with a room in a room full of like-minded women,
Mhm.
because things happen when you're in the room. When you decide
Yes.
to show up is when things really happen. God shows out when you show up. So really, I don't want to limit it to just the South Florida market. If you're
Right.
watching something that Candice said resonates with you, or maybe the Holy Spirit, you guys know I'm about Holy Spirit led, dropped in your
Yes.
spirit, you need to be in the room, then don't let the fact that it's in Fort Lauderdale or in Broward deter you. If you're an hour away or 2 hours away, drive, because it means you're meant to be in the room, right? So I definitely encourage you. It's December 7th, starts at
Mhm.
10 a.m. And is there a
Mm.
specific link? I do have the link, so I will drop that in the comments section on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube.
Yes.
You want to direct them to a specific website or anything that they need to go to for the link?
There's a jot form link that we could share as well. But
Yep.
in terms of easy peasy registration, you can reach out to me and Zelle your payments. It's $80. That's an investment that is um I don't like to use the word steal of a deal because it doesn't really reflect the value. But I've seen events $150, 250, and I'm saying to myself, the time and the value and just what is going to happen in that room is like, yeah, this is something. This is an easy yes to say, come forward. You can Zell me
Okay.
directly at 954-795-0144. If you don't have Zelle, you could get your tickets on Eventbrite. Just type in Women Who Stretch 2025. And if for some reason Yes, the number is on the screen. Thank you. And if for some reason you're still having difficulties, call me directly on that number. Send me a text, and we could work it out and make sure that you are in the room. And what I love about it, God gave me the number 120. So I'm saying, Nicholas told me, that's my husband. He said, Candace, do you know that it was approximately 120 persons in the upper room when Holy
Mm.
Spirits came, and they were doing marvelous work. They were baptizing more and more each day. They were reaching more persons. So just imagine you showing up to one event, how many persons you can reach just by being in the room, connecting and sharing your expertise. It's just an amazing feeling. And I wanna say this is not a denominational event. Once you're a
Okay.
woman of faith, once you're a woman that believes, once you're a woman that knows you are meant for more, this space is for you. So I know some people will be going to church that morning, but trust me, God and I have a good relationship. And I don't think he'll be mad at you to, skip church, because that'll be a form of church for us. We gather together, believe in the same thing, hope in the same thing. Going forward by faith is going to be an amazing experience. And lunch is provided. So we look forward to that amazing time.
Yeah, absolutely. So I put it up on the screen. It's Women Who
Yes.
Stretch, December 7th at 10 a.m. And you can, an easy way to, I'm going to put the link below. So you can click on the link below for those who are watching on the replay and go ahead and register and sign up for the conference. But you can also reach out to Candice directly at 954-795-0144 to send a Zelle for the entrance fee or the registration fee, which is $80 for the Women Who Stretch conference happening on December 7th at 10 a.m. Well, I have enjoyed this conversation so much. I am super excited for the event. I'm going to make sure I grab my ticket now so we can get to that 120, because I truly believe God gives you numbers for a reason and a certain number
Mhm.
for a reason. So we want to fill the room. So if you are in the South Florida area, make plans to join us, make plans to attend. And be in the room, because there's nothing like being in the room of like-minded women and women of faith, praising God, right? Giving God the glory and showing what God can do in our lives and in our businesses. So I appreciate you so much, Candice, and I'm excited
Yes.
for you and excited for the Women Who Stretch event happening here in South Florida. And it's a great way to end the year. Let me add that too, because
Hmm.
as we're about to wrap up 2025 and start
Yes.
2026, really thinking about your voice for the new year, really
Hmm.
thinking about how you can be more visible in the new year is important, and really leaning into your story, learning how to
Hmm.
be a little bit more vulnerable is going to be key as we wrap up 2025 and start to think about what we want to do in our lives and in our businesses in 2026. So hopefully you can join us. And thank you again, Candice, for doing this impromptu. It was kind of like, let's just jump on a live. And I'm like, yeah, let me go ahead and try and stream on all three areas. I have to go back and make sure everything worked correctly. but it's showing at least that I'm
Yes.
on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. So thank you for those of you that popped in live. I did see a couple of people popping in live. Thank you for those who are watching on the replay, because we know a lot of times when you do these live streams, a lot of people listen on the replay. So thank you if
Hmm.
you're listening on the replay. And thank you, Candice, for stepping into the calling God has given you, helping women to stretch, to really get outside of their comfort zone, so God can really be glorified with what he's doing in women's lives. So thank you.
Amen. Amen. You make this feel so good and so easy. Like I am already in my mind saying, wow, she should do a master class on, hosting these type of conversations and how to use these platforms and stuff like that. Like my mind is just expanding right now because I'm saying to myself, like, this is the type of content I enjoy.
Yes.
You didn't send me any questions. It's not
Nope.
scripted. We just
Nope.
flow in, and I'm just so excited about this. And the fact that I got to see you just a couple of days ago, I was like, yeah.
Exactly. Yes. We went on a double date. So we got to enjoy
Uh-huh.
some time together with our husbands. So, yes,
Mhm.
definitely it was good. So, I always enjoy being with you, Candice, whether it's virtually, online, or in person. And I'm excited for your upcoming event, Women Who Stretch. And thank you, everyone that's been watching on the live. And thank you if you're watching on the replay. And we hope to see you in the room.
Yeah. See y'all.